Stop making educational content. Over the next however long I decide that this video is going to be by the time of me done yapping, I am going to try my hardest to convince you to stop creating educational content. And not only am I going to convince you to stop doing that or stop mainly focusing on that, I'm going to show you and tell you a little bit of what you should be doing anyways. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're watching this, your goal is to build a personal brand. Not just build a personal brand because you want followers, because you want attention and views and likes, whatever. No, you want to build a personal brand because you are tired of being a hidden authority. You are tired of seeing other people online who are, quite frankly, half as talented as you, who doesn't care as much as you, who has half the experience as you. You're tired of seeing those people get all of the attention. And truthfully, you're probably tired of seeing those people scam your ideal audience. And so a big piece in doing so is building your personal brand. But when it comes to building your personal brand, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. So stop creating educational content. Let's break it down. Now, before I continue this video and some of you go and look back at all of my old content and call me a hypocrite, I want to say this. Most of my content starting out, and when I say most of, I mean from 0 on Instagram to 50,000 followers. Those 50,000 followers were gained by creating educational content. How-tos, tips, tricks, all of the quick educational, informational content that you see most of the people in your niche probably posting today. My first 50,000 followers came from that. Now, I don't want you to be on the other side of the screen thinking, yo, Jaden, well, if you got 50,000 followers, I want 50,000 followers. Why are you telling me not to do the thing that you did to get those followers? And here's why. I don't want to say I deeply regret it because I have no regrets. God makes everything happen for a reason, and it taught me some lessons. But those 50,000 followers that looking outside in looks good, it wasn't as good as it seemed. It wasn't so peachy and rainbows and cream or whatever the statement is. It wasn't that because these were people who are what's called freeple and cheaple. People who only like free stuff and people who only like cheap stuff. Now, here's why the direct correlation is that, right? When you are only educating your audience from a standpoint of information and educational content, right? All of the stuff that makes them feel empowered for them to do it themselves. What happens is you get a bunch of people who are information junkies. Yeah, people who only they just want to consume all of this amazing information on the internet that they never do anything with. And secondly, you end up also attracting a group of people who will watch your video and feel as if they can do it without you because you framed it as if you are giving them everything. And here's 2 main issues with that. The first issue is we are in an information age. Information is regularly available, whether it's Google, whether it's ChatGPT or any AI tool out there. Anybody and everybody has access to basically the same amount of information. And so what happens is if you get on the internet thinking that you giving information is what's going to make you pop off, you got another thing coming, brother or sister, because you're not being unique. You have nothing new to offer the marketplace because information is always out there. That's the first thing. The second thing is educational content does not always equal value. And I'll say this and nip this in the butt right now. There is always a time and a place for educational content. I'm not saying get rid of it as a whole. I'm not saying that you should never, ever, ever, ever make it. What I'm saying is there's a time and a place. But I do not want you to equate educational and information as value, because here is the real value, my friends. Get away from the how-tos, the tips, the tricks. The real value is transformation. Yeah, transformation. That's stuff that when you search up content marketing and content gurus, this is stuff that they will never tell you because this is really how they make their money. They make their money off of selling you more information about content, but truthfully, when you got people like me, you don't need it. Anyways, that wasn't shade, I promise. Here's the thing. Transformation is the thing that you need to be aiming for if you really want to grow your brand. And when I say transformation, I mean internal, mental, physical transformation, whatever you sell, whatever niche you're in. The main transformation that needs to happen before they apply the things that you want them to apply, that is the transformation they need to get through. Here's what I mean by that. Think back to high school or even middle school, depending on, what school you guys went to and the state you were in, whatever. When you had the opportunity to quote unquote pick your classes for the next semester or even the next year, there were these things called prerequisite classes or prerequisite events or whatever it's called. That essentially means you need to go through this before you can do the thing that you actually want to do. And here's the biggest issue that we have right now, again, with this information age. We think that just because we give them the information, they can now apply it. They can now go do things, but the problem is they didn't go through the prerequisites first. I can hear you on the other side of the screen give me the exact blueprint to make $1 million a month. And guess what? If I didn't go through the things I needed to get through to mentally change, physically change, emotionally change, spiritually change, I will never be able to actually apply the blueprint to make $1 million a month. However, if I have the mental shift, if I am aligned spiritually, aka vertically, hello, if I am aligned in that standpoint, if I am physically where I need to be, the biggest thing is this. You can give them all the information. You can give them the exact blueprint that they need to actually succeed. But the problem is they will never be able to apply it. Or sometimes, here's the real truth. I have to hold your hand when I say this. Sometimes they don't even know what they need yet. They just know that they are trying to get past the current blockage that they have. They just know what they want. And so you need to be able to help them with what they want. So therefore you can give them what they need. That's how deep, that's how psychological content is. And I can't stress enough that you just giving them information, you giving them the next hack, the next trick, the next how-to video will never help them get there. And that's why people may watch your video and scroll away, never follow. That's why people may watch your video or not and never buy your product. And it's because you haven't given them the true transformation that they need yet. Think about some of the biggest online entrepreneurs / creators that you follow today. I can almost guarantee you, minus a few, I can guarantee you most of the videos that they create that have the best performance, that make them the most money, are transformation based. It makes you transform yourself, again, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, because that's the key. The key is in the transformation. Here's another thing that most of you don't realize. But see, here's the thing. When they implement, they have conviction, which means that implementation creates conviction, and conviction creates conversion, and conversion means dollars in the bank account. But in order to get there in the first place, you need to scratch the information, help them implement something, and get them across the next finish line. Because once they get across the next finish line, they now feel like they owe you internally. And when they feel like they owe you, then it's a wrap. Because every video they see of you, every carousel they see of you after implementing that thing, and it actually works, every video, every time they see you on their feed, they now feel some sense of, oh my gosh, this is the person, right? This person has helped me get to the next level. You picking up on what I'm putting down? And here's the biggest thing that I really want to drive home with you guys today, because I know I spoke a lot about a lot, and you're probably like, oh my God, Jaden, this was so much. The biggest thing that you should be aiming for with your brand, if you really want to blow up, if you really want to make a crap ton of money from the videos that you post online, from the carousels that you post online, your biggest thing should be creating buy-in power. You want people to be bought into you. You want people to be bought into what you have to say, what you have to sell, the movement that you are moving. Because once you have buy-in power, you become unstoppable. And when you become unstoppable, you don't need the most amount of followers. You just need the ones that rock with you, which means you don't need to tailor to everybody. You don't need to make generalized content. You can really make content dialed in specifically for the person that you need to help. And once you start helping people, instead of trying to go viral, I promise you will take your brand to the next level. So my friends, I say this: do you want to grow a brand and make impact? Or do you just want to look at vanity metrics and be happy that you got new followers? Because I promise you, the pathway that you choose will dictate everything. Now, I know that was serious. I know that was deep. And I know you're like, Jesus Christ, Jaden. I know. My bad. Usually I'm happy, friendly, upbeat, giddy, but I just had to get serious with you guys for a second. Now, if you're also watching this and you're a business owner and you're like, yo, I need some help with this, check out the first link in the description. No biggie. If you do or if you don't, your loss, not mine. I help entrepreneurs do this stuff all day, every day. I pray that you got value from this video. I pray that I see you in the next one. Peace out. Thank me. Later.